Alright, I think we are live. Now the sound of the phone is disturbing me. Okay. And I don't like this light. I feel it's too harsh. Stop better. Definitely not better. Oh, I like this. I think I like this. I prefer this. Um, Let me quickly reduce my fan and then I introduce. I feel like it's too loud. Oh, shit. Oh, okay. So, sorry, I'll explain the blankets in a bit. Okay, welcome to today's live. So this life is going to be like a story time about my health because that's what I'm dealing with right in the moment, and a story time, just life at the moment, and then if we can get to it, we'll watch something. So I really wanted to be doing lives where I watch something, but honestly, everywhere I turn, copyright. I try to watch a concert, music copyright. I try to watch a BTS live. There was some sort of mistake or issue there. I tried to watch a show on DSTV Chicago Fire. There was copyright when I uploaded it. So today we're going to find out if I watch some other person's content on YouTube, if there will be copyright. Let's find out together. I was supposed to call someone and actually ask before I started this live, but of course I did not. So let's find out together. Let's see what happens after the live is done and I upload it. So that's what's going to happen in this live. So, oh, another reason I'm going live early, it is 12:29 my time. Another reason I'm going live early today is, first of all, I want to stay committed to doing these lives every day as much as possible, as much as possible. But the main reason I think I'm going live early is because I have a YouTube Made for More workshop today by 5 p.m. and I'm supposed to be resting now, but I can't rest. I'll explain that. I can't rest. I cannot film what I wanted to film today. So I said, let me go, let me do a live. But anyways, let's talk health. I really don't want to ramble in this live, but we know that I tend to ramble. So hopefully, you know, I don't today. All right, the blanket is a comfort thing, and I also have this is also a comfort thing, right? Okay, so health. I am that person who doesn't take her health seriously. Lord, I look weird. Okay. I don't know. Whatever. I should have done this off camera anyways. So I'm that person who doesn't take her health seriously, like at all. And I am actually rarely sick. If I'm sick, I'm just having like the once in a year cold. I'm actually rarely sick. Like I've been so lucky that I actually haven't taken malaria or typhoid drugs. If you're in Nigeria, you understand this. I actually haven't taken malaria or typhoid drugs in the past 8 years. I only took malaria drugs when I was pregnant because it's customary for them to give pregnant women malaria drugs just in case. They did test me. I think I didn't have it, but they still gave me because of the baby, right? So I'm rarely ever sick. Now, I started developing high blood pressure when I was pregnant with Daisy. So that was 2021. And of course, I don't think they put me on high blood pressure meds then because I was pregnant. But anyways, that's when, I mean, going over my charts, that's when my high blood pressure started spiking. Anyways, so fast forward to me actually giving birth. Whew, the day after giving birth, days after giving birth, it was wild. My high blood pressure was jumping by literally minutes. Like the doctor had to be, they sent a nurse to be checking my blood pressure like every 30 minutes, and it kept jumping. It was like it was crazy. Story time for Daisy's birth is a different story entirely. But yeah, so after I left the hospital after giving birth to Daisy, of course they gave me blood pressure medication, and I was supposed to have been on those. I'm still not okay with this angle. I was supposed to have been taking those. There's something off about this angle. I'm sorry. I'm so finicky about certain things. If the line is not straight, my mind zeroes in on that. Anyway, I was supposed to be taking those blood pressure meds after giving birth for like the long haul and be checking the blood pressure, keep up with it. But of course, I did not. So now, fast forward to today is Wednesday. Fast forward to Friday, Thursday, right? Let's say Friday. I had an appointment in the hospital. So this appointment was to do a follow up for something I had done. I don't know if anybody that sees this eventually had watched the vlogmas. It's a vlogmas I mentioned that I had a procedure done in the hospital. So that procedure I did, I was supposed to go and do like a checkup like a month after, just to see how things were. So I went for that appointment on Friday. At the reception, when I was checking in, I kept telling the nurse at the reception, and prof, that's the doctor. He doesn't need my blood pressure. He doesn't need my blood pressure. I'm just coming in for a checkup of, something I did in December, da. So when I went in to see him, it was like, they didn't test your blood pressure. What happened? Bring your chart. And he took my blood pressure. And he was like, when the doctor in fact, asks the nurse to take your blood pressure, and he's looking at it and he's like, you know what, let me do it myself. He does it. And then he called another doctor. Another doctor came in and he did it, and it's like, okay, all right. So he told me that my blood pressure was very high, kind of low-key dangerously high. As of that Friday, it was 150/90, which is bad. That he immediately said that he wants me to see a cardiologist. He's going to, recommend me to see their cardiologist. He kept saying, I don't know why he did that. He kept saying, at your convenience. I think he kind of low-key knows that I cannot be prodded into, I don't know. So he kept saying, at your convenience. So anyways, I took my charts, took it to them and asked them, okay, book an appointment for me with the cardiologist. So they booked that for the next day, So Saturday morning, I went and saw the cardiologist. She now took my blood pressure again. On that Saturday, it was 160/110. And she was like, what is going on? You're not on any medication for blood pressure? I said, no. That's when she now actually went back to my chart as far back. In fact, when she asked me, have you ever had high blood? When she asked me, have you ever had high blood? My silly ass told her, no, I've never battled with it. She was like, but your mom, are your parents, is it genetics? Is there high blood? I'm like, yes, my mom is hypertensive. My dad was hypertensive. She was like, when I was shopping my mouth, I no, I've never had high blood. I only had it when I was pregnant. She was like, wait, though. That's when she even flipped through my charts right till like when I was pregnant. I think she even flipped a little bit. No, it was 2021. She flipped and she said, it's looking high here. It was 140 over this here, this kind of high blood pressure does not go down just like that. You had to have, been on medication for it to go down that. No. So that is how that Saturday like that, she put me on blood, high blood pressure, like I think a very high dose, kind of two different drugs, high doses, put me on the medication. But that's not even it. It's for someone like me, it's actually very crazy to manage my health, because first of all, for high blood, of course, I have to now work on my weight. I mean, been doing that. I have to sleep well. Now this is where the problem lies. I do not sleep well, like at all. We know this. And I get stressed about the littlest thing. I don't know how to explain it. My brain, okay, like let me use right now to explain it. So like right now, last night I slept by past 4 a.m. and I woke up by some past 8 in the morning. I didn't sleep, right? So that's like very little. Bearing in mind that the night before, same thing was also what happened. Now I didn't sleep and I woke up by that time when I woke up. What did I do when I woke up? I went downstairs. I went to work out. I went and was gisting. My sister's in my house. I went and was gisting with my sister. All the time I'm doing this. In fact, when I woke up, I didn't have the headache. But all the time, at a point when I was working out, the headache started coming. Like, even yesterday, I get these piercing headaches that, like, they are, I don't know. Anybody, they're not like migraines, but very piercing headaches that make you feel like you literally want to have an aneurysm. Matter of fact, I joked about it yesterday. This is how unserious I am. Yesterday I joked about it on my WhatsApp. I was like, I know I'm not going to, like, I'm not going to unalive long. Sorry, I'm not going to unalive young. If something happens to me young and it's not by nefarious means or by accident, y'all just know that it's an aneurysm that took me out, because I get these very piercing, worrying headaches, and I never think about them till yesterday, that I was like, it actually scared me, knowing fully well that I got this blood pressure diagnosis like last week. Like yesterday, even though I was joking about it, I was low-key scared. I was like, Jesus, what's happening here? So today again, I started feeling the headache when I was working out. So I actually stopped working out and was doing what I was doing. While I was talking with my sister, at a certain point, it got so bad that I was like, you know what? I'm going to leave you all. I'm going to leave you guys. It got so bad, like, it starts localizing here and then it moves. It's crazy, like, it's really, really wild. So tell me why I left my sister about 12. Why am I not now? I'm supposed to come and lie down and sleep, right? But my mind doesn't allow me sleep. Like when I'm having, sorry, I'm missing a nail, I just realized. When I'm having like insomnia, my mind doesn't allow me sleep. In fact, this headache I'm having, it actually gets worse if I close my eyes. If I, as I'm doing this now, it moves, like literally moves for the whole entire side of this face. Oh, I literally teared up for doing that. The whole entire of this face, the headache moves. So my options are lie down, toss around, close your eyes, and the headache increases. I can't even film all the things I wanted to film today. There's some videos I wanted to film today. I can't do it because I feel like I won't have the energy those videos need. So I'm in a dilemma where I'm supposed to sleep because of my health. I'm supposed to lie down. I've taken my drugs this morning. I'm supposed to sleep because of my health, but I cannot do that because I cannot close my eyes. It literally hurts to close my eyes. I cannot also work, cannot film the videos I wanted to film because I really don't. My mind won't allow me take a breather. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to do a live because after this talk, it's going to be low-key chill. We're just going to watch something. I'm going to do a live. So that way I feel like I'm not, how do I put this? That way I'm not as antsy as I will be, because when I now get antsy, it doesn't help my headache anyways. And I feel like I'm doing something. I'm not just laying down in the middle of the day. Like I just feel that way. I feel like I'm doing something and doesn't require as much energy as me filming a video or doing an edit would require. Yeah, that's it. So that is where we're at. I really need to take my health seriously in 2024. Like when they gave me blood pressure meds, usually I'll take the meds, and then when the dosage I got, like the number of days they gave me, it finishes, I'll now pause. But this one, as I went to buy the drugs, I bought for a full month. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to accept the fact that I'm going to be on high blood pressure meds for the rest of my life. I mean, I need to take it seriously. I joke around about my health like way too much for the way I feel. Like I downplay the pain a lot. I am still like, I downplay the pain a lot. I downplay everything. I was like, you know what? It's not gonna take me out. This is not how I go. But the scare I've gotten this past 2 days, I'm like, you know what, girl? This is a new year. You want to live to get to a BTS concert, so you are going to take your health seriously. You're going to take your health seriously. So I'm gonna do my blood pressure meds. I am going to be religious with that. I'm going to work on some of the other things she gave me. Like, I actually have an appointment again with her on Friday because she was like, I want to see you again after the week. So I'm assuming she wants to see if there is improvement. I wish for her also that when I go, there's improvement, because me that is sitting here doesn't even know what's gonna happen. But yeah, and I'm very, very morbid also, in case you haven't picked up on that, because there's a part of me that when I say, Ma, you want to see me on Friday, are you sure this the way I'm feeling? You sure say that Friday I go see day here, but that's me being morbid. Anyways, that is it for story time for my health, and that's why I'm doing a live, even though technically I should be sleeping. I really do not want to talk too much. Yeah. So another thing I was doing was, like, when I do the live is, I'm like, okay, I'm going to also, since I have a workshop today, since I have a YouTube workshop, I like preparing. This is the book I've been using ever since. Has it reconnected? Yes. I am hotspotting from my phone, so I think it had some issues because someone called me, so the network kind of got wonky. My Wi-Fi was yeah, like they 1 2 3 want to go, so but other language. You may say yeah. Okay, ya download. I'll send you. Send this my guy the kind of thing I'm talking about. So download. Download 2 languages, Korean and Spanish. Ubong. Let me get my number too, so I can send you on WhatsApp. Okay, send me your number. Send me your number then. Anye kemi daka mai tete mi di bo order obet. Okay, boy, anye yong odi now. Doko anye no yong odi ke ya temi di bo. Yes, Fidelis. Okay, I don't think you. Yes, no, wait. Come back. Don't wait. Come back. It's going to take time. Come back. Okay, all right, bye-bye. Mbogbo your text number more so that I'll send him what he should do on WhatsApp. Thank you. No, tell him. Give him my number and then tell him to text me on WhatsApp so that I'll send what he's supposed to do. Yeah. Give him my number and then Bonyen text a WhatsApp, yeah? Okay. All right, bye. Sometimes calls take too much out of me. I'm gonna wait for him to text me anyways. So yeah, I am, doing things made for more, but this by the way. Anyway, sorry for that interruption. We bought an iPad for Duke, so I'm very, very I think I do not like technology things, so I couldn't load what I wanted to load. I couldn't go on Play Store, download things. We didn't buy an iPad. It's just a regular tab, not something expensive. Before she'll break it in 1 week, so that's what I sent it to somewhere for them to put some stuff on it. So I want them to put, apart from the regular stuff and then the educational stuff they're going to put for her, there's this Korean thing she watches on YouTube a lot and she likes it, and there's a part of me that feels she has started picking it up. So I want to kind of send the guy to put things in Korean and Spanish for her as well. I mean, she's gonna be my super duper child. All right, that story time out of the way, health talk out of the way. So I am going to turn on YouTube and we are going to watch this show. I would say Only Feelings Are Real. So Kai Collective, I don't know, it's a clothing brand, recently released this show. Hold on, I'm trying to find it. True. Anyway, they recently released the show on YouTube that how would I put this? I think I would have passed. I'm not really that into Kai. Collective. No, let's not start yet. I'm not that into Kai Collective like that, but when I saw the people that were going to be on the show for the first time, Tony Tunes, she's you could call her an influencer, social media, person, and her boyfriend, Taiwo, were the first people to be on the show. I was like, oh my God, yes. I'm going to tune in for this. So I'm sure I'm going to. I don't think I'm going to be able to watch the full thing on this live because it's an hour 13 minutes. So I'm just going to watch a little bit. I'm not going to show anything, and I'm just going to watch a little bit and make comments as I watch. But just before I turn that on, I want to ask somebody about the copyright situation. Like, can I watch somebody's, excuse me, Only Feelings Are Real, episode 1. So what they're talking about in this episode is long distance relationships with Tony Turns and Taiwo. It's gonna be a cute one. Is he live? Good morning. Is it morning? No, good afternoon. Okay, he has sent me a message. Sorry. Good afternoon. Okay, so the person I am texting, I'm sending the stuff to do the thing for Daisy. I think has sent me a message. So let me quickly reply that while I don't know, Come on, I hate it when my phone hangs. Like, why are you hanging? Are you worried? All right, we are going to. So this is a show that Daisy watches a lot. Don't know how people make these things to focus. Anyway, I want to send him that and show him like this is an example of what I'm talking about. Oh, he's live. Okay, hold on. Good day, good day, good day, good day. Ubong, all right. And sorry. Okay, so Ubong to consent, that's the kind of thing I'm talking about for those languages thing. It might not necessarily be this one because I don't know if you can have access to this particular one, but something of that nature in Korean language and Spanish as well, alongside with every other thing that you are going to put for her. So yeah, something like this. Thank you. Um, oh, I have a question. Where is she? I'll be here. You bad. Please, I have a quick question. If I watch someone's content on YouTube while on a live, will it be copyrighted? Because all the shows I watched on DSCB received. I can go ahead. I think it says there's going to be no copyright. That would be amazing, y'all. That would be amazing. All right. Ooh, whoop, whoop. Whoop, whoop. Okay then. Thanks. All right. So now that has gotten the okay, we are going to watch Only Feelings Are Real by on Kai Collective, long distance relationships with Tony Tones and Taiwo. I have some messages that I feel like I should reply since I have my phone. So weird. Okay, all right, I'm gonna settle in because I want to, enjoy myself. Chimmy, you can sit down there with me. So let's watch it. Oh, I feel warm. I don't know. By the way, my headache has actually reduced. I kid you not. When I started this live, it was like it's still there, but it's not all the way all over across my head anymore. It's like still the remaining piercing one, and I think it's even going to reduce more when I watch this. I mean, these guys are like a lovely couple, Tony Turns and Taiwo. If you're on Instagram thinking and you're like your TL is filled with that kind of thing, you definitely know them. So yeah, let's start this. First of all, it's very, very well produced. No, I've got to show you guys.
Excited to welcome you all to the first episode of Only Feelings Are Real, a conversation by Kai Collective centered around the human experience and human relationships. Our first guest could not be any more perfect for this. I am so thrilled that you guys joined us today. We have the most gorgeous couple, Tony and Taiwo. I mean, we are still recovering from your Christmas photo shoot.
Okay.
Screamed when I saw that picture.
She said, Father, come see this, come see this.
That's the owner of Kai Collective and her partner. All right, it's too hard for me to keep the tripod that way, so.
This is really not this type of thing. So thank you for indulging me. I
I love you too.
If you could all please introduce yourselves. Let's start with Taiwo.
I am Taiwo. I'm a content creator. Mostly make comedy content for the last 3 years. On the
They are in a long distance relationship. Taiwo lives in the US and Tony Tones lives in the UK. So that's just a little backstory. They're both Nigerians, but I think Tony was born in the UK, and Taiwo probably went to the US at some point of his life. I don't really know the backstory on him, but yeah.
on the day to day, I still work in corporate, specifically in biotech, and I try
I
and
did not know
make
that.
perfect balance between making content and working my 9 to 5. But outside of that, I'm fortunate enough to have run into my beautiful dear. And
He's very funny.
during the process of me making content, and I'm glad to be here today.
That's a nice intro, right?
Oh, you can do better than that.
Mine's very
You can do better
boring.
than that.
I'm Tony Tone. I'm a content creator and best-selling author that speaks.
Best-selling author.
Yeah, she has written
awesome.
2 books, I think.
So yeah, nice and straightforward. So.
Lovely. I'm Fisaya Lunge. I'm the founder of Kai Collective, a clothing brand intentionally crafted to make women feel their most confident.
She is also
my name is
Nigerian.
Falabi.
Matter of fact, all
I'm
of them are
also
Nigerian.
a photographer, producer. I also have a 9 to 5, and I own the space that we're shooting this in. So
This
yeah.
amazing space.
Thank you so much.
We love a man with a 9 to 5, not gonna lie. Yeah. Parents are so unstable, yeah.
Security, that's what
Yeah,
it is.
and parents are so unstable that it's just nice to have, that stability. I'm not saying I want you to do that forever, but
Yeah.
it's nice.
It is nice.
Yeah.
I agree.
So I really wanted to have all 3 of you here because I knew that I could just count on you for open and honest conversation. So let's get into it. To start with, we're going to play a quick round of Only Feelings Are Real conversation cards. So if you choose a card and answer the question, if you don't want to answer the question you choose, you can select another one.
See how she puts us on the spot.
Oh, that's a good one. What would you do if you had no fear? I think I'll think of everything I don't do already because of fear and just do everything like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'll do. I can't give specifics because there's a lot everyone's afraid of in life, but I think I'll pick those things that I normally don't do, and I'll say, you know what, my life goal is to do all those things, whether it's playing with crocodiles or to taking on some extreme business risk that I wouldn't normally take. That's what I would do. Yeah.
What is your earliest
This is Tony answering her.
failure?
Early experience with failure. That's a good one.
Do you know it's hard for me to answer because my perspective? Because I just feel like I don't fail at anything. I redirect myself. Like I've not failed. It's a restructuring and reprogramming of where I'm supposed to go.
That's a good way to look at
So
it.
it's hard to say because I guess the things that I failed at, in hindsight, I'm like, no, that was meant to happen because look at me now, look where I am. But earliest experience with failure.
She is
That's an
so
amazing
beautiful.
answer.
Yeah.
She is so
Honestly, that was
beautiful.
perfect.
That's
I'm gonna try that when I get my time.
Okay, my turn. I had the superficial one while you guys had the deep ones. Unlimited clothing from any designer for the rest of your life. Unlimited flights from any airline for the rest
she
of
would
your
choose
life.
clothing.
So travel is my favorite thing, but for me, I find the most expensive thing is always the hotels, not the flights, because we love great hotel. I love great hotels. So for me, I would choose unlimited clothing from a designer that I really love, like Schiaparelli or something. And then that way, yeah, I get all those clothes and I pay for my flights because, yeah.
Okay. All right. Mine says, if you were given $10 million on the condition that you could never leave your hometown ever again.
No, I wouldn't.
Would you take it?
I wouldn't.
10 million. Which
wouldn't.
hometown?
Oh, which hometown?
Any. Honestly, it could be any.
Oh.
Even Houston.
You could never leave.
I wouldn't.
The world is big.
$10 million.
I wouldn't. $10 million is not enough for me to stay one place.
I'll leave because I can make $10 million.
I love that energy.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I can't stay in Houston for too long.
That would be my.
If you do watch this live and you get to this point, answer that question right now in the comments. If they gave you $10 million to never leave your hometown, wherever it is, UK, US, Nigeria, your village, would you take it? I personally would not. I have not even traveled the way I want to travel, but I want to travel the world. Like, I will not take $10 million and never leave Uyo, Nigeria. Oh my, no, not what's it called? Olorumaje. I won't take it. Nah, nope. I want to go places. Where have I even been, Steph? I haven't been to all the places. I never even go see this Santorini where everybody posts white picture. Mbano.
So honestly, that's not even a difficult question for me. No, I don't think there's any amount.
Yes.
Because what would you do with the money?
You know what will you do with the money?
Okay.
When you can't go places.
So let's get into our main conversation. Today, we're getting into the nitty-gritty of long-distance relationships. We all happen to be in long-distance relationships here, and coincidentally, they both live in Houston, and we're both London girls.
Oh wow, both of them. I didn't know.
Long-distance relationships
Her
get
partner
a
was
lot of
also-
bad press. I was in an Uber last night, and I told the guy, "Oh yeah, I'm in Houston because my boyfriend lives in Houston. I'm from London," and he was like, "Ain't no way, ain't no way." So are they honestly that bad? Let's get into it. So how did you guys meet? I'll let you tell the story because I feel like I've told this story before
So
in
your version
many
of
different
it.
ways. Yeah, so I'll let you tell the story.
Okay, so Tinder. No.
They didn't meet on Tinder. I think they met on Instagram.
Same, I was so confused because I'm like, this is
No,
not what you said
no.
2 days ago.
So I started making comedy content during the pandemic, and after that, I was following her content for almost 2 years. I never even bothered to look up her Instagram page, which is weird because I would see her tweets from Twitter and other pages would post them. And every time I'm like, yes, I agree with this girl's mindset. Who is this girl? Who is speaking? Who is this girl? And for years I would see tweets like that. And then one day in 2020, I said, let me just look up her page. And I looked up and I'm like, oh my gosh, she attractive too, on top of that. And then I followed the page and I started interacting with her content. And found out years later that she thought I was trying to get her attention from doing that. She'll never agree with me on that, but I genuinely really liked her content. And then it took a while. I think one of my videos went viral, and maybe that's when I came across her radar. And because of that, she saw my page, and then she went on my page. She saw my picture. She was like, she told her friends, this man's handsome, ain't it? And then, that's exactly what she said. That's exactly what she said.
I even
That's exactly what she said.
I regretted him to tell
Yeah,
you.
Anyway, continue. I'll try it in a second. Continue.
Anyway, right. And then from there, she went through some of my content. I make comedy videos, but whenever I'm talking on a serious topic, I stick to my values when it comes to relationships. And she saw a couple of those videos, and she said, you know what, I like that. And then she followed me. And then she started commenting on some of my photos. I think my birthday was a couple days after she started following me. And she would comment on the attire. She tried everything to not give me a genuine,
First of all,
I like you compliments. So she was like, fire fit or a nice outfit.
was the thing of fire?
You cannot drop off emoji. It was so hard
That's
to drop
so
an emoji.
cute.
I don't know why.
No, it's-
Anyway,
But
Right,
at the
so-
time, I didn't know, like, if you're in a relationship or if you were, like, single. So I'm not gonna just.
testing me.
Yeah, I'm being respectful. I want to see if you
that's
buy
just
it.
tell us something. Yes. So after that, we're just like mutuals online. We would, interact with each other's content, and that was it. There was no flirting or anything. Should I skip the part about my brother?
No, you're gonna include. No, you're right.
So then one day my brother told me that, guy, I've seen this girl that recently started. I said, don't worry about it. That I think she's attractive too. On the things I know about her, she's a great catch. But I'm just trying to focus on myself.
Because brother did not listen.
And my brother,
All that DM.
don't know if he was drinking one day, he just went to DM her and said, excuse me, he's interested. His name is Tani Ja. I said, see trouble. Then, Tony
This
went
is
to
actually a cute story.
messaged me saying, hey, is this your brother? And she sent me the screenshots. I said, God, am I going to do now? The thoughts of this. And I had to explain to her that, oh, he means well. Instances where he sees two great people that are great for each other, and just let it go.
Essentially, you do you're an alley. Essentially.
Why is everyone keep
Exactly.
saying that? So listen,
He did though.
listen. So he did that, and I told him that you don't have to worry about it. I told Tony that you don't have to worry about that. That he was just trying to be friendly, and Tony was like, "Oh, gotcha." I found out after we started going out that she almost gave up on me after that because she said that.
Do you know why? Because I saw it as his brother giving him an alley, and I thought he was going to bite, like he was going to be like, anyway, now my brother said that, I'm interested. He didn't even say anything. I was like, okay.
I genuinely just liked who she was, and that was hard for her to understand. And around December or January of 2020, 2022 January, I was in church. One of my friends in church said that, who are you to think that you're going to be successful and then Mrs. Right is going to come along? As you pray for your partner, also pray for divine timing. Because sometimes you meet people and then, you've heard people say that it's not the right time in your life. So pray for those things too. So January, I said, of people I know, there's one person on the surface level that I know of that has all the values I'm looking for, that I'm also attracted to. I'm not gonna lie, attraction is important too. You want to be attracted to your partner too, doesn't mean only. So I messaged her and I went straight to the point. I said,
Finally.
I was going to do it. I wasn't shy. I wasn't shy. Okay, prove to me that I wasn't shy. I was very direct. I told her that, listen, I know who you are on Instagram.
Yeah.
I need to know who you are outside of Instagram.
Gang.
How do we make this happen? And then she sent me her number. Less than 5 minutes, I sent her a message. An hour later, we had the phone call. And the rest was history.
Oh,
Absolutely.
when is the Ashobi we want to buy Ashobi?
That's my point.
Okay, so should we tell them how we met?
Yeah, I want to know how you
Okay, so we have a mutual friend, and I was at lunch with my mutual friend, and then he just crashed our lunch. He did not come to see me because my friend wasn't trying to hook us up. On paper, I don't think we're compatible, so I don't think anyone would know both of us and be like, oh, I really want to match you guys up. So he came, and we were at lunch, and then we had a speaking engagement. My friend and I were speaking, and he came with us. And it wasn't like an initial, oh my God, who is that for either of us. We just, or was it for you?
Oh, that's what eyebrows. Sorry, that's what eyebrows.
I did a little bit of stalking. Just.
Oh.
I confess now. I confess.
Oh,
Because the whole time he was like, yeah, I didn't even like you at first anyway. So we went to the speaking engagement, and throughout the day, I just saw how he was with his friends, male friends as well, and I felt like he was a very affectionate man, and that showed me that he would be secure in his that he was secure in his masculinity. And that he would be confident enough for a woman like me, because I've had a lot of experiences with men who feel intimidated, and so I was not about that. I wanted someone who was very secure.
Okay, so this is Fisayo, the owner of the founder of Kai Collective, a clothing brand. She's also now talking about when she met her partner. Hold on, I'm dropping a comment. When I drop the comments, I'm going to complete my thoughts. So, that thing she's saying about she saw him and how he acted around his friends, she knew that he was secure in his masculinity and he could be the type of guy that would be able to handle her. That thing is so real valid for her. Now, again, I do not know these people in real life, but somehow I see them on the internet, and I've low-key followed them like on the internet. Like, for her saying that, I feel like is very, very true, because she owns a brand that is doing so well. Like, High Collective is on the upward trajectory. It's not going to slow down. She's in fashion, and you know how fashion girlies are. Like, if you know anything about that world, you know how fashion girlies are. She comes across as someone who has a really strong personality, but she's actually like maybe a genuine person. So knowing what we know about relationships, there's definitely that tendency where a man will be like, that one, that one, stuff like that. So yeah, this is really, really cute that she is saying that. Like I really understand that. And now my battery is low, and for some reason my power bank was not charged. So I'm gonna pause and try to see if I find a power bank that is working. So give me a minute. Oh, just scoot away, scoot away. Wait, shy. Just before I turned on this live, I was watching some music as usual, and I was listening to IU. I'm trying to find a way to come into the camera where I don't look weird. Chimochi. Anyway, that's what I was humming. I use it for it forever. Did I look weird? Forever we are. Ooh, 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 ooh. All right, let's see if this power bank is working. Is it a walking one? It is a walking one. All right, let's go.
Very confident, and just the fact that he was comfortable enough to show men affection let me know that he didn't care what people thought about him.
And then I left or something.
Oh yeah, and then we were at the event, and the event ended. I was speaking to someone, and then he left. And I just remember feeling a tinge of like disappointment that he didn't say bye. I was like, how did he leave without saying bye? And up until that point, it hadn't registered that I liked him. But then when I felt that, like it was really like it pierced me, and I was like,
so
okay,
you liked
maybe
me from day one.
I was interested in you, and then I go home, and then I saw a DM from him, and the DM said, "What is your number? Because I'm not going to be one of your Instagram hoes." You know?
See how we do?
Transparency.
Yeah.
Strategies.
And we've spoken nearly every day since then, except one day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll say that's accurate.
Yeah.
I love that.
See how
Alright,
sure
move
she's
on
like
to
we've
the
spoken
next
every day
question.
since except one day. That's
Did any of you guys play hard to get, or was it easy? Relatively easy for you guys in a relationship?
You wanna go?
I feel like none of us played hard to get, but in the beginning I was like, damn, like, what's going on?
See me?
I guess like I'm more used to like, say for example, if I have an inkling that a guy's interested, then my expectation is that I would know sooner rather than later. But I had an inkling he was interested, but he wasn't really doing anything. I was like, what's the catch? Like, do you have a girlfriend? You're not interested? What's going on? And then it took so long. I was like, okay, he's not interested. I'm not his type. I'm not what he's looking for. I'll get over it. It is what it is. So I like gave up. So it's not that he was playing hard to get, but he was taking his time.
Thank you.
Yeah, I feel like you were taking your time.
Question though, was it worth the wait?
Oh, 100%.
Okay.
Yeah, I would. In hindsight, I would have waited longer. Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
Was it worth it?
Was it easy for us? It was relatively easy for us, I think.
I feel like you played hard to get a little bit. I really do feel like he played hard to get
Okay,
because.
this one I believe. I don't know
No,
why.
he did.
I can see.
No, we had this conversation the other day, but anyway,
He was very, very consistent. The most consistent anybody has ever been. I mean, constant FaceTimes, constant texts. From the beginning, there was no fronting. If he wanted to text me 4 times and I hadn't responded, he would text me, "Excuse me, why haven't you responded?"
That doesn't sound like someone is playing hard to get.
But then, when, he was very friendly, very just genuine. When I was like, I liked him so quickly, and I was like trying to get that energy, the liking energy wasn't there. So I had consistency, like a friend, a great person.
Which is generally my approach.
But I didn't have like the romantic, like, oh, he really wants me. And it took him a long time to give me that, like, okay, I'm ready to commit. I feel like it wasn't, you play hard to get.
I was supposed to answer that question. I don't answer. Why did you answer the
You
question?
asked me, I told
She
you.
spoke her mind.
Yeah, she did. No, I agree with everything you said for the most part. What? We'll talk about the rest later.
No, honestly, why was that your approach? You said that was your approach.
I found in the past that generally going into a situationship or a relationship with the intention of, oh, I want you, I've been met with a lot of rejection. So, yeah. But generally for me, I also would rather want to spend time to get to know the person first as a friend.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, if we're not friends, then what do we have?
That's right.
So that's generally my approach. You want to cry?
No, they were just missing out, and I'm happy because we ended up here.
Yeah, that's right.
So yeah, that's generally how it works for me.
That's good.
I like to start off as friends and then we can build from there, not the other way around.
Right.
Okay, I love that.
Did you guys worry about whether you could trust each other in a long distance
Now, this
relationship?
is the one I want to hear the answer to.
I mean, do you want to answer this?
Oh, I can. Oh, this one. I am the, some people might call me delusional, but I am the king of, I will trust everybody until you give me a reason not to.
Okay.
Some people do the opposite, which is fine, but I think that doing the opposite is not a way to live. You can't, people go through things, people have faced, bad experiences, but people need to understand that those individuals have nothing to do with the new individual you meet. So I always would go with that. And on top of that, when we met, our second phone call was 7 hours.
Wow.
What?
7 hours and some minutes. I still have a screenshot of it. 7 hours and some minutes. It was a Saturday.
Second phone call.
It was a Saturday, 7 hours. And during that call, I don't know what we didn't talk about.
Wait, so that means you must have been up to God knows how long if you were.
5 a.m. We started
I slept late that
time.
day. I slept late. I think for me, I kind of saw from the onset that Tyler has such great values, and it was I guess the first time in my experience romantically speaking to a man and thinking, is your moral compass better than mine? I was okay. I'm used to being, I don't want to say the better half because that's the wrong thing to say, but I'm used to being in situations where I feel like I've done more self-work, basically. And speaking to him, I was like, this is different. I feel like this is a man that's done a lot of self-work, who knows what he wants, who knows himself and knows his values, knows his principles, and he's disciplined, right? And that's not to say I'm not, because I'm very disciplined, but I was like, I feel like I've met my equal, if not someone who is even more committed to their identity. And because of that, I didn't have any worries. I felt like everything he said I could believe in, and that he was a man of his word. And he didn't give me any inkling of someone trying to deceive me. And I guess it was so intentional from the beginning. We got to talking, we had that long call. Within 2 weeks, he had bought a flight to come to the UK in that first month. And this man lives on the other side of the world. So I was like, this man wants me. I know what he wants me. I guess he makes being in a long distance relationship easier for me.
I think to add to what
intentional
is that it came from a place of telling her things that I could have kept from her. And when you do that, it shows the willingness you're willing to go when you had the opportunity of hiding certain things. And when I would do that, she would even say that you could choose to have not told me this, but yet the fact that you still wanted to tell me this shows that you're willing to trust me to not do any harm with that information. And I feel like that was another step I took again on top of that. On her end,
you laid all the cards on the table.
Yeah, like I said, I want to be in a place where if somebody was to say, oh, Tyler did this in the past, she can say, I know, he told me. So there is no skeleton, she wouldn't know. And then that's where it also came from. But on her end too, it was from a place of knowing that she was willing to be so open that it even had me question that why? What exactly is it? I was like, what's the catch?
Why is she being so
why
open?
Why is she being so open to me? And it made me realize that there's nothing wrong with that. Some people are just, Some people just have the same values as you, and they're willing to go above and beyond and tell you so much because they're willing to build trust at the start. And if you can do that, even if you guys are spending months away, you can know that in the absence of your partner, you guys are willing to still respect your relationship. There's a statement I always tell her that whenever I'm talking to anyone, if there's a woman next to me and I'm talking to her, my rule is that how would you talk to her if your partner was standing next to you? That's how you're supposed to talk to her. Even in DMs, if Tony was next to me, the way I'm responding when she's not around should be the same as when she's there.
You responded? No.
It's like you're not supposed to respond. She got you now.
To the nature.
I'll say.
Told you she fought it too. But yeah, that's exactly what I did.
So two things.
He's just giving
I'm
me
curious about why you
walking
felt
green
comfortable
flag.
enough to be so open
Okay.
from the beginning.
Okay. I am a big believer in like gut instincts, and I think generally I have quite good discernment when it comes to like people I've dated or dating. It's not been perfect, but I think with age my discernment has gotten better and better and better. And with him, it's like something just told me that what I was seeing was what I was getting, and he was being genuine. But aside from the gut feeling, I feel like love is all about risk, right? And it's like you can never experience life-changing love and romance if you're unwilling to take a risk. And I was just like, you know what? I don't want to be this person who's just jaded and angry and scared all the time. Like I need to work on that element of embracing love. And I've done that over like the 34 years of my life. So when I met, how was I? 33? No, 32.
32. Yeah.
So when I met Tyra, I was just like, you know what? I'm just jumping head first and I'm just gonna embrace it, take it for what it is. If it bites me in the butt, it is what it is. But at least I can say that I wasn't restricting myself. And this was someone on paper that had everything I wanted. Like, you know when you have your dream list? I wrote my list. I said, hey, I want a guy who's this, a guy who I'm attracted to, who has great values, who comes from a loving family, who is well educated, who has a great job, who does this, who does that.
Okay.
So I was like, I would be stupid to have this guy that is like the epitome of this like person I've written down, and he's right in front of me, and I'm not gonna give him 100% of me. But you're gonna get this 100% whether you like it or not, right? So yeah, I think it was just like a combination of things.
I love you too.
That's so interesting to me because I see so many parallels. I was definitely already jaded, but I think being met with this person who was so emotionally mature, so genuine, I couldn't be, like, it unjaded me, if that's a thing. No, I never worried about trust in a long distance relationship, which I'm a worried person. So to not be worried and anxious about, I feel like cheating is the thing that gets the most conversation with relationships. And for us, trust was never really a thing. Like doubting, like, let me trust or not trust this person, because what you said about giving so much information, talking so much. We have such an open relationship, and this is not coming from an arrogant place, because with life, anything can happen, anything can change. Like, niggas is crazy. I say to my friends, I really feel like if Farabi was going to cheat on me, he would ask me. Like, I really feel like he would. I feel like we built the kind of relationship where we would say to each other, I felt a little bit attracted to that person, and not in a way to hurt each other.
I love that
but just
transparency.
yeah. Even like with that time, there was a time where he went dancing with a friend, and someone saw him. Like he went dancing with a female friend, and someone saw him, and he got back, not to me, but to him, and then he told me. I already knew he was going. I didn't feel I was completely fine with him going.
It was also just country dancing where you
Like line dancing.
I get that.
Give me a break.
I get that.
But it was still enough for someone to bring it up.
Because it wasn't you, obviously.
Yeah, I had the same thing with his sister. Someone saw him hugging a woman at the airport. It was his sister.
Twin.
Can you imagine?
My twin.
Wow.
I met my twin at the airport, and somebody was like, wow.
So
already.
how did you find out? Like, how did you know about that? Did he tell you, or?
Yeah, so the person was it they messaged you or got in contact with him to say, oh, I saw you at the airport
Oh my
hugging on a
God.
woman, and
Oh
it
my
was
God.
his sister.
Wow.
So he has the same thing.
What?
I actually appreciate the person who messaged Falabi because it was his friend's wife who told his friend, and then the friend like messaged him, and I appreciate her for looking out. But like I already knew, I didn't have a problem with it. A tiny part of me was a little embarrassed that someone thought
Thinks.
that he was cheating. Or you know when like, it's like if no one saw, then you don't care. But when someone brings it up, you're like, ah, should I feel somehow? Is this embarrassing? But ultimately, I knew that it was happening. And it's just so open, and yeah, we've never had to worry about trust. And the thing you said about moral compasses as well, meeting someone that I feel, I always say, all my friends say, like, we know Falabi is a better person than I am. His moral compass is way better. His character is way better.
I'm laughing because I can relate.
Yeah. If anything, I would say that I put you on too much of a pedestal in the beginning because he was so perfect that I actually
She's
put
saying
him
the
on a
perfect
pedestal,
in
and
quotes because
I would
of
say
quotes,
this year he showed me that he was human.
I had to balance it out. I don't like being
Okay, fair,
I had to
fair.
balance it out.
And so that was very shocking to me, and it like destabilized us a little bit when I had to bring you down to life, like, and find out that you're just like everyone else.
Okay. What's the most difficult thing about a long distance relationship for you guys?
What was the most difficult thing? So Tao obviously makes it very easy because he's like someone that's easy to trust. He's super reassuring, super loving. But I think the biggest challenge for me is probably the physical touch element. Because sometimes I'm at home and I'm having a bad day, I just want to hug.
You guys are just saying.
And it's like, yeah, like sometimes I
it's
just want to
hugs,
hug.
like rubbing on her with
And I think that's probably the most difficult part for me, just wanting to physically be beside your person and knowing that, like, if you want to do that, it's going to cost you X thousands of pounds.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's it, like the physical element, because I feel like relationships fundamentally all about friendship, communication, and fostering that foundation and having that like connection, right? And you can have that companionship in a long distance relationship because it in fact it actually encourages you to have a deeper relationship because all you can do is talk, right? All you can do is talk. But the one thing you cannot recreate is being in each other's presence.
I wanted to see what the sound looked like on the live.
I would say for me, it's just like she said, being around. She will tell you this. In a day, I think I call her more times than I've done this. Like, I call her more than 10 times in a day. Even with my busy schedule, I still try and make sure that I have 1
Check
minute.
in.
Like, if I have a meeting back to back, in those 60 seconds, I can call her just to talk to her. But I realize it's because I always want to tell her every little thing about the day. Or, yo, you see this online that's going on? I just want to talk to her.
Oh
And
gosh.
because of, thank God that we have things like FaceTime now, you know, you get to talk to them. But it's not the same as like when they're around. So that element, it can be challenging, but I always think about the long-term goal and what we're trying to do, and the fact that we always plan every meetup like 1 or 2 trips in ahead. So I try and do that to be optimistic and not think too much about how challenging it is. But as of now, it's just the element of them not being around every single day.
It's interesting you say that because it's kind of the same for us. Like,
Yeah.
for me, the hardest thing about long distance is actually like saying bye. You know, like we spent
Those
a
airports,
month
those
together, we
airports.
spent 2 months together, and now you're telling me that I have to go back to Houston and be in Houston for 2-3 months without this person that I've enjoyed their company over a long period of time.
Okay, so this question is actually for the guys. So Falabi and Taiwo, how are you so confident in your masculinity that
Okay, sorry, I'm gonna pause and talk about what I just saw. So I know that earlier on in the live when I was doing the story time, I didn't talk about IU, the music video that I reviewed, by the way. Yeah, whatever. I didn't talk about IU, but it's all I'm thinking in my brain. I mean, I talked about the fact that I was listening to IU, right? So this morning when I was working out, I was finally reading all people's reviews on X, and because of the way the music video is, talking about the theory. So I just saw one theory, and I'm like, oh my god. So apparently the analysis of Love Is Wins music video, because IU can't hear, because when I watched it yesterday, I didn't realize that she was deaf in the music video. So apparently IU can't hear, V can't see with one eye, which made sense because at one point in the music video she covered V's one eye. That square seems to extinguish those marginalized people, and that camcorder seems to show them in a world where those people are not discriminated again. That is so cute. Oh my god. Oh my god, that is so cute. And I think this is like an official analysis. Now I really get it. Oh my god, that is the cutest. That is the cutest. Anyways, yeah, I just wanted to pause and mention that because I really have been talking about this morning. I talked about it on I talked about it a lot this morning on TikTok and Twitter and on my WhatsApp stories. Like, that is so cute. This is even sadder, yeah. This is even sadder. No, so that cube just doesn't just take people, only specific people. This just makes it so much sadder. Just take everyone away while you're doing it. Why this? No, everybody. This is okay. Someone else had a theory. What if that cube takes them to that better place where they will no longer be discriminated and marginalized? What if they will be happy, as is shown on the camcorder? Wouldn't that be great? Yes, I'm choosing to go with this. I'm choosing to believe that theory. I mean, I know it's just a music video, but I want my happy ending. I want my happy ending. I want my happy ending. You're not gonna rob me of a happy ending. Anyways, let's get back to Taiwo, Tony, Fisayo, and Folabi. Oh, okay. Yes, if you look at the restaurant scene, it's an analogy of how society treats people with disabilities. Okay, this is really making sense. I'm gonna watch this music video again after this. Like, I get it where the skips outside. I thought it was a whole. Okay, I can get sucked into this. I need to go back. I need to go back to what I was watching because I really can actually get sucked into this. Oh, okay. Let's go back to
External opinions don't affect the way you show up as a man. Some context to this, I find that a lot of men who show a lot of respect, a lot of reverence, and just show that they are family oriented and love their wives and their families, it doesn't even take a lot to ruffle people's feathers. But men like Russell Wilson, or men like Alexis Ohanian, Serena Williams' husband, Ciara's husband, they don't even have to do much. They just have to show that they're healthy. And everyone is in flames and is dissing them and calling them all sorts of corny, simp. Yeah. It's actually insane how little they have to do to get called that.
Do you understand?
So how are you so comfortable to show up as yourselves? Even having this conversation and being so open with your affection. What is your secret? Let's start with Tyrone.
Well, for me, I think, first of all, we live in a society where people try to equate going above and beyond for your wife or partner as a sign of weakness, which makes no sense at all.
None.
Because if it's someone you actually value,
do you understand?
You treat it like a partnership. You want to be able to make sure that they are happy too.
The sound bite from this show.
That's the common denominator from what Russell Wilson does for Ciara, from what Serena Williams' husband does. And because of that, people have started developing words like simp and stuff like that. People forgetting that it's not the case. Because one big component of this is emotion. People try to make it look like, as a man, you're not supposed to show all forms of emotion. Forgetting that anger is also an emotion.
Yeah.
And they love to say, I'm a man, I'll show emotion. But they get angry. They'll say, no, it's not an emotion. It's an act of, what do they call it? It's an act of passion. Anger is anger is an emotion too. And as a man, what type of man will miss out on the whole human experience when you cannot show that you can cry for something that involves your own woman, that you can go above and beyond for your own woman, and you're claiming you're a man? You're missing out on the thing. Masculinity only applies to things that
Only are angry,
perceived as strength, by being, tough. I mean, that's one side of it. If you're not able to go above and beyond for your woman, sorry to go scriptural, but if you're not willing to show sacrificial love like the Bible talks about, that's you missing out. You're not getting the full experience. So I think, like, for me, even from the way my dad raised me, he always was that person that he would never spell things out, like, but he would always show us that he was willing to do anything and go above and beyond for my mom, for the whole family. And that was something I said, if that's going to be my definition of masculinity, that is what I'm going to do forever. I would always go above and beyond for, by God's grace, my Yahweh, my wife. So that is it for me.
So for me, I actually don't think about it as much. I don't really ever think, okay,
so I gotta pause. We gotta talk about what I would just said, because we got to talk about what I would just said. Like, he's talking about the whole, the way people talk about Serena's husband, and it's like he's a simp, he's doing too much for her. Da, 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 da. So what he just said here basically is like, why would you people always equate men to things that are like angry and feel like anger is not an emotion? For somebody to go all out for their partner, like as a man, now talking from the man's perspective, this question was for Taiwo and Folabi, right? And he's saying, like, why would you equate that to be, why must it always be the things that people perceive as strengths, like the anger thing, equates them to men? Like, why can me going all out for my partner the way like Ciara's husband does, the way Serena Williams' husband does, like, why is that seen as a weakness, whereas that is something that literally you should do for the person you claim to be your partner? Like, Tony Tones has hit the jackpot with this man. I mean, we already follow them online, so I already know from all his takes. I mean, he makes content from all his takes that the boy gets sense. And then I'm watching this, and he's having this much sense. Like, I am actually on Twitter, and I am tweeting. Let me see. This is what I tweeted. I was like, gosh, the sound bites from this show, Ty will speak. This is the kind of content I want to go see viral. Not all those. I'm not even going to mention the name, but it starts with VDM. Not all those VDM and them. Gosh, like, he's speaking, but will people say this? No. They also do, if you don't do you're not a man. I'm like, there is nothing. I say this, well, not all the time, but I say this often enough. There is such strength in vulnerability. Do you think it's easy to open up to someone? There is so much strength. Bear yourself. Gosh. There is so much strength in vulnerability, and people, God, I cannot. You know what? I didn't think I was going to watch this thing up to this point, but the way it's going, I think I'm gonna watch it to the end. I'm halfway anyways. It's like this question that he answered to was, how do you stay confident in your masculinity, right? This is like, yeah, I'm really loving this. Folabi is about to answer his own now.
Is this a manly thing, or what I'm doing is, it doesn't cross my mind that way. I just do what feels natural. I do what I enjoy. Like, even growing up, I might enjoy singing in the choir, and I remember being teased for that. But I love music. I'm not going to sing. I can't imagine. I'm not going to stop what I enjoy doing because that doesn't consider me a man.
Yeah.
And also, that means I'm giving the power to someone else to define who I am.
Exactly.
Which to me doesn't make sense. So I generally don't think about it. I just
just
do me. I know it seems very straightforward.
As you know, as you should. I like the answer because, a lot of times they like to put certain stereotypes of things and say, well, that's not manly enough. Who made that rule?
Exactly.
Who made it?
That? Exactly. People are just saying stuff.
Like, just do you. Who defined what it means to be a man or a woman or whatever?
Who think that it's work to, let's say, commit to their woman or go or do those certain things that, like singing.
Yeah.
And I feel like instead of them, doing the healthy thing of like researching into it and seeing what works and what doesn't, it's a coping mechanism they use to just say, well, instead of me changing, let's just say all this is not mine. So it's a cope, but I'll not let somebody's 9 months time tell me that this is how I'm supposed to do certain things. If it works for me and I'm happy doing it, why not?
And in connection to what you said, Falabi, I feel like a lot of men aren't themselves. Like when you said it, you just do it. They're not. Yourself. A lot of men aren't themselves because they're so conscious.
A lot of men are not themselves. They have been so engrossed into what society feels like men should be that is what they're doing. Please, Tony, brunch on me. Like what? You know what? I'm just gonna allow her speak.
Be like aware of what people might say. If they want to do certain things, they want to do musical theatre, they don't do it. They want to sing, they don't do it. They want to dance in public, they don't do it. They want to love on their partner, they don't do it because they restrict themselves. And I think honestly, like that contributes to some of the high rates of depression and loneliness we see in men. And it's not that I want to use buzzwords, but toxic masculinity is partly the reason why a lot of men I think are unhappy because they do not feel supported to be themselves, and it's a vicious cycle because they're not being themselves. They're inadvertently not supporting other men in being themselves. So, yeah, I think it's important for men to hear that you don't even think about it. You're just yourself, and nothing is wrong with just being yourself. Someone will love you for being yourself as well.
They always love to say that when when you're being yourself, that your woman might weaponize that against you if you show any sign of weakness. Just date better people.
Date better people. They won't date better people. There's somebody that likes it.
Bring your affliction into everybody's story. Just date other people. Also, like I read recently there was a video I saw where this lady said that she doesn't like men crying on their wedding day.
So leave them. Leave them.
Okay, so let me get this straight. Your man is happy that he's finally marrying his dream partner on one of the most important days of his life. And
he cries, and that's a problem.
The emotion with music and all that. Because he has to prove what to other guys
that he's a man.
Miss out on all the beautiful things in life because they're trying to play a role. Yeah. So I hope people get to do what makes them happy and not try and use words like, or try and say that certain things are not masculine because they're trying to fit it.
What Tyra said. I love
it.
I really love both of your responses because when we got together, that was what attracted me to you. As I said, how secure you were in your masculinity. It showed me that you could be someone that I would have a successful relationship with. But I think that if you had come 2 or 3 years earlier, I think that what I hadn't done the work learning myself. I think that what I was looking for was completely different, and I think I used to feel validation from men who were actually not very nice people, who were actually quite mean, but when they give me like a crumb of attention, I snatch it, and then so they would treat me badly or be avoidant. And I used to play those games with men where I actually allowed myself be treated badly in exchange for like a few moments of happiness where I felt like someone who is like a bad boy in quotes was giving me attention. I'm curious about whether you ever dealt with that kind of actions.
These questions are good. These questions are very, very good.
I was ever drawn to emotionally unavailable men, but I definitely have found myself in relationships with men that warped my attachment style. Does that make sense? So I've always been quite secure when it comes to relationships, and I think that's partially down to like my parents and seeing the relationship they have and growing up in that kind of dynamic, like seeing a couple together for long periods of time loving on each other was not foreign to me. So I never really had that kind of like trauma attached to relationships as such. But I've definitely found myself in relationships where I thought the person wasn't that way, and then they turned out to develop into, or not develop because they were always emotionally unavailable and they didn't like commitment. But I guess that by the time I affirmed it, it was too late. I already had feelings for them, right? So it's not like I went into it thinking, oh, I'm kind of attracted to this person because they're a bit, the attraction developed over time, and then with time I came to conclude that they were emotionally unavailable commitment phones.
Okay.
the only thing I would say that I had to work on was being comfortable with long periods of peace. So my dad is a very emotionally available man. But I did kind of grow up, and I shared this in my first book, seeing my parents argue here and there. And for that reason, they're in a great place now, but it wasn't always like that. They had to work to get there. So for that reason, I would be drawn to men that like were open, that made it obvious they liked me. And I would find myself, and I actually joke with Tyler because I say that as far as like being an adult, he's my first adult crush. Because I would always find myself, unlike you, that would that would find like unemotionally available men attractive. It's like, if you like me, I like you because you like me. If you don't like me, or if you're being funny, then I don't like you. But if you show me you like me, then I like you. But I always found myself with men who wanted me more than I wanted them, because they would grow on me, because I'm like, oh, he likes me, let me give him a chance. But Tyler was the first time where I was like, I like you just as much as you like me. This is cool. This is new. You don't have to grow on me. But the downside, I think, like growing up, my downside was that if I was in a relationship and like everything was peaceful for a long period of time, I'd be like, yeah, there needs to be some fire, you know, what's going on? Like, yeah, I'm like,
This is too long.
yeah, the piece is too long, what's going on? Like, I'll be like, this is kind of makes me feel uncomfortable. Like, what if, like, I want you to like me, but there needed to be roughness around the edges somehow. Like, we needed to argue about something, or there needs to be like a bone of contention. And then, so I guess that's where I was a bit different, and I had to work on that. And over the years, I would say that in my 30s, I definitely like nipped that in the bud, and I came to the realization, I wrote about it, that you need to work on changing your comfort zone sometimes. Sometimes your comfort zone isn't
It's
always
the
healthy.
problem.
My comfort zone wasn't healthy. Like, I found discomfort in long periods of peace, which was so warped, and I had to like tell myself that just because you observe this and you've had previous relationships that weren't peaceful doesn't mean that like a peaceful relationship is abnormal or bad, or there's like a catch. Embrace it. So that's what I had to work on.
Okay, so let me just say something about that, about Tony, right? Again, I do not know these people in real life, but I have followed her on social media. And you know how you follow people on social media, eventually you're the follow other your friends, actual friends with other people who know more story than you do, right? So why she's saying all that, I really like feel her, because through the grapevine of the social media, we have low key kind of heard little things here and there about her past relationships when she has been with other men and how they were. So for her to sit down here and say that she got uncomfortable with long periods of peace in her current relationship and she needed to change that just because she was not used to that in her previous relationships, like, I feel her totally. Knowing the little backstory that I know, again, not like I know these people in real life, but you get what I mean.
That is so interesting, because I was speaking about this the other day with my mom and my sister and I were raised very similarly. But my sister, I said this thing about, oh, why do girls grow up so with lacking so much confidence and they like bad boys? And my sister said to me, I never went through that phase of liking emotionally unavailable men. I've always liked nice people. She's like, I've never been attracted to mean people. And I found it so interesting that two people who were raised in the same household could, and
Have
on the
different
surface, I'm the more confident person than my sister. Like, you would think I value myself so much more because of how I appear.
Yeah.
But it's so interesting that she's been so secure from the beginning, and I went through this phase. I'm still unpacking it.
What's the best thing you've learned from your worst fight?
Can we go first?
Yeah, you answered, so I'm
Alright.
curious.
She's always no.
No, finish that.
So what was the
She's always
question?
fights.
I think they said something about fights. Let's.
The more confident person than my sister. Like, you would think I value myself so much more because of how I appear.
Yeah.
But it's so interesting that she's been so secure from the beginning, and I went through this phase. I'm still unpacking it.
All right, the question.
What's the best thing you've learned from your worst fight?
What's the best thing you've
Can we go
learned
first?
from your
Yeah,
worst
you
fight?
answered,
That's
so
a
I'm
good
curious.
She's always no.
Finish that. She's always right. It was like this one, she's always right.
No.
She always thinks she's right.
No. Biggest thing that I learned that I didn't even know that I would love, especially coming from my previous relationship,
Okay.
was that when we have an argument, the goal is to understand each other, not about who's right. If you spend more time focusing on being,
I could learn from this. When we have an argument, the goal is about understanding each other, not focusing on who is right. Like, I feel like I could learn. I could learn from this. But after I watch this, will I learn? I don't know.
it might end there, but the battalion continues another day. So I learned that we are both on the same side. We just work things differently. We both are looking out for each other. We want the best for each other. So anytime it's getting, if the few times it's gotten heated, we would reset and listen to what each other is really saying. Give each other time to speak, don't interrupt. And when we hear what each other is saying, every single time that's happened, we get to understand where each other's coming from. So I got to learn that we're both on the same side. She's not my enemy, I'm not her enemy. And that made me realize that, okay, when we have arguments, okay, we are both arguing for the sake of making this work for us and not making it one against each other. So
you're listening to understand and not respond, essentially.
thank you. That's it. Yeah, it really is it.
I would have said the same thing. Like, a lot of the time when you argue in a relationship, it's not that there's, well, provided you're with a good person, yeah. Sometimes someone is in the wrong, but when you're with someone you love and you trust their values and you trust their belief system, it's rarely that someone is right and someone is wrong. You just have a difference in perspective, or there's some like gap in the communication that needs to be ironed out. And yeah, I guess it's the same thing as what you said. Like, our worst fight taught me that actually there's no real issue here. We just need to see things from each other's perspective. Yeah.
And it's almost the same with us as well. I mean, I remember, I don't know what fight it was, but for me, I think a lot of the things that I've noticed in fights that don't mean anything, like you said, it's just different communication styles, like also different cultural backgrounds. Like there are certain things that you might say a certain type of way that I might read differently because I've seen it differently in other places. So to me, it might seem like you're calling me a bastard or something. That might be the word that means love in your own language.
That's a real thing. That is real.
Like, seriously. And also the way, like,
that is real.
In those spaces, the way you communicate also plays like a big factor, because some people like me, if you yell at me, I don't do it. It doesn't work for me. And my sister here, she can raise her voice. She's a problem. But like learning how to communicate, 100%. Yeah. But yeah, that's generally how it is. I think understanding how you guys communicate, like your communication styles, and also realizing that there are things about the person's past that might play into how they're reacting. It might not necessarily be them. So making them realize how they're coming across or what they've said and how it makes you feel, I think that fuses a lot of fights. And I've had to learn that the hard way a lot of times. So
let me put this more plain. Yeah, I want to hear it. This wasn't our worst fight, but it was our first fight. It's our second worst fight. It was our first fight. And when I went into that fight, I thought that when you fight with people, you shout at them and you say fuck you and fuck off. Like, duh. Like, we're fighting, so.
I was like, what?
It's like, why? It's all God's business. I'm not from. I didn't realize that you fight with people and then you like make them breakfast, or is it poisoned? Like, if we're fighting, we are fighting. So we had this fight and I did all my, fuck yous and raising my voice and everything. He was very upset, but how was he when this was going on, like demeanor-wise? Very calm and very confused, like almost like he wasn't. I think he was shocked. Okay. I think that's not what he's experienced. Yeah. It's not what he saw at home. It's just against what he stands for. So I think he was very shocked. What was your emotion?
I didn't believe it was happening, so I just let her go.
Yeah.
She was on a roll, so I just let her go.
So we went to bed, woke up the next morning. It was our last night in Tulum. This was our first trip together. He woke me up to watch the sunrise because he knows how much I love the sunrise. So then after that, this is the most, like the sternest, the strictest anyone has ever been with me. And he just said to me, no raised voice, no mean words. He just said to me, like, never, ever speak to me like that again.
unless like I will never speak to you. Like this will be done. He's like, I don't tolerate shouting, I don't tolerate swearing, and I just don't think it's necessary. And I was like, it was the first time, honestly, that's when I realized that that's not how people fight. I really thought that that was how people fought. And since that day, I've never done that again, right?
I mean, maybe like 3 or 4 or 5 times.
I haven't sworn.
No, she hasn't.
And even if I raise my voice, it's not like, it's not the same sharp. And I'm learning and I'm improving.
I love that.
And it meant a lot to me that he did that. It was very stern.
It also means a lot to me
since
that you took that feedback and actually you over time have changed your approach to fights.
Yeah, I respect you so much. I love that you waited for the day, you waited for me to get it all out. So it wasn't like, I wasn't talking and you were like, you didn't make me feel stupid. And then the next day you came like, never try that again.
I really love that story though, because sometimes I think when it comes to relationships, people think they need to be the perfect person before they get in one. But I do believe that you can be in a relationship and simultaneously grow together or become better as a result of being in a healthy relationship. Because when you're with a good man does help you improve. When you're with a good woman, she helps you improve, and you work on being better versions.
We're gonna.
I'm learning and I'm improving.
I love that.
And it meant a lot to me that he did that. It was very stern.
It also means a lot to me that
he thought that that was how people fought. And since that day, I've never done that again, right? Never speak to you. Like this will be done. He's like, I don't tolerate shouting, I don't tolerate swearing, and I just don't think it's necessary.
Now I'm making a video for my WhatsApp.
And I was like, it was the first time, honestly, that's when I realized that that's not how people fight. I really thought that that was how people fought. And since that day, I've never done that again, right?
I mean, maybe like 3 or 4 or 5 times.
I haven't sworn.
No, she hasn't.
And even if I raise my voice, it's not like, it's not the same sharp. And I'm learning and I'm improving.
I love that.
And it meant a lot to me that he did that. It was very stern.
It also means a lot to me that you took that feedback and actually you've over time have changed your approach to fights.
Yeah, I respect you so much. I love that you waited for the day, you waited for me to get it all out. So it wasn't like, I wasn't talking and you were like, you didn't make me feel stupid. And then the next day you came like, never try that again.
I really love that story though, because sometimes I think when it comes to relationships, people think they need to be the perfect person before they get in one. But I do believe that you can be in a relationship and simultaneously grow together or become better as a result of being in a healthy relationship. Because when you're with a good man does help you improve. When you're with a good woman, she helps you improve, and you work on being better versions of yourself together. And like you said, you had this opinion, you thought this was how it's supposed to be, until you were with Folabi, and then you had this argument, you realized, oh, this is something about me I should change. And this will help me foster healthier relationships with people generally, like friends and family. And I love that, like, you were able to do it in such a gentle way. And the thing about the way you said the way you said that he woke you after that and said, come watch the sunset. Do you know what that reminds me of? There's this image that I love. It's one of my favorite images. It's of an old couple. It's raining and you can tell they're pissed at each other, like a cartoon couple. And he's holding
the umbrella over.
He's protecting her regardless. And I think that is such a great reflection of what relationships should be. Like, even in anger, you love each other.
Love the person enough to do things for them.
Yeah, I'm learning. It's taking a lot. Like, when I'm angry, to like still look out for you and everything. But yeah, I've definitely become a much better person in all areas of my life, in friendships, with my team, you know, leading a team, the way I speak to people, pausing and reflecting before you respond. And I 100% give you the credit for that.
I take it. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you.
That's what I needed.
That's what I needed.
And like you said, with your person rubbing off on you or showing you becoming a better person in the relationship, even with attachment styles, when we started, my attachment style was definitely avoidant, anxious, like depending on the person, sometimes avoidant, sometimes anxious. And ever since being in a relationship with you, I would say my attachment style is now secure, like firmly secure. And I don't know if that would go across to another, I mean, hopefully there's no other relationship, but I'm curious as to whether that's just because I'm with you and yours was so secure that I've been influenced, or whether I'm delivered.
I think a combination of both, though. Like your personal self growth coupled with the way your partner is. I think the combination. Yeah, I can relate to that.
Yeah. What about you guys? How have you?
So my attachment style, it has changed over the years. So I would say that like my first ever relationship, I was 16 years old. I was with this boy for 2 years. It was like high school relationship, so nothing like serious, but he was a very like lovely boyfriend. So my first experience of love was healthy. So I started off secure. I obviously had my parents' example. I had this healthy relationship, and it was all like great. Went to university, catastrophe. I was in such a toxic catastrophe. I was in such a toxic relationship. It was really bad in hindsight. I'm like, why did I do that? But it helped me become stronger. And then after that, I was in another relationship with someone who was an avoidant, and that made littleness secure very anxious. And it pulled out so much anxiety from me that by the time there were points in that relationship I didn't even recognize myself, because I was like, this isn't me. Why do I care about these things? Why am I arguing over these things? And I realized it's because I did not feel secure because the person was so avoidant. And then leaving that relationship, doing the self-work like you did, and then obviously going from that relationship to healthier relationships, and then eventually being with Taiwo.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. I've not even complimented you. This is the most secure I've ever been. And this relationship feels the most natural to me. And I think that is, similarly to you, Fasaya, a combination of the work I've done after that avoidant relationship, coupled with the type of man he is.
You're with now, yeah.
I honestly think even if I hadn't done the self-work and I approached my relationship with him as a very anxious person, I would likely, after the 2 years we've spent together, coming up to 2 years, be way more secure, because he gives me so much reassurance. He's just so loving, so caring. Like sometimes I feel like I can't even match up, like the level of reassurance he gives me and the love he gives me. And it's like, I can't be anything other than secure with this person. Like, I can't even imagine being anxious just because of the way he is. So yeah, I think it's the same thing. Like,
Hold on, bro.
what about your attachment style? I don't know, you've always been quite secure though.
Well, for me, I've always been quite secure, only because, first of all, I've always been very picky in my relationships. I've only been in 2. And in those 2, maybe I was lucky that I didn't get to experience really, not so pleasant relationships. So, I'd always gone in with the mindset of, you can build trust, trust them before you give them a reason not to. And, coming with that, and even what I've seen growing up with my family, and how my dad was always willing to show care. They might not say, sometimes, let me speak for my own parents.
Yeah.
They might not say, like, I love you here and there, but they'll say, I've eaten today. Or they'll say,
Their love is very aggressive.
yes, it's very aggressive. Right. But I've seen that in mass, and I'll see how much, he's willing to even give us things to, give us reasons for us to trust them, to do certain things. I even see how my dad would trust my mom and vice versa. So coming from that environment, I didn't really have any not so good experiences in dating. So bringing that into this relationship, the only mindset I had was, I am going to trust her from the start. And the more I got to know her, I realized that not only is it easy,
They're
but
holding hands, they are
that
so
made me
cute.
realize that even if I came from a not so great background, she'll still give me reasons to build that trust. So I'm
rewinding. I'm gonna get up.
They might not say, sometimes, let me speak for my own parents.
Yeah.
I'm getting up. I need to show y'all this
Other
part.
than secure with this person, like, I can't even imagine being anxious just because of the way he is. So yeah, I think it's the same thing. Like,
Hold on, bro.
There's a part.
your attachment style.
So I kind of want to show Like how just like
It's like,
natural they
be
are.
anything other than secure with this person. Like, I can't even imagine being anxious.
Look at them.
Just because of the way he is. So yeah, I think it's the same thing. Like,
Hold on, bro. Hold on, bro.
what about your attachment style? I don't know. You've
Well-
always been quite secure though.
Well, for me, I've always been quite secure only because, first of all, I've always been very picky in my relationships. So I've only been in 2. And in those 2, I
Like the
Yeah,
way she
lucky
looks at
that you
him
get
while
to
he's
experience
saying what
it.
he's saying, that
not so pleasant relationships. So, I'd always gone in with the mindset of, you can build trust, trust them before you give them a reason not to. And, coming with that, and even what I've seen growing up with my family, and how my dad was always willing to show care. They might not say, sometimes,
like they are so
Well,
natural
yes,
and cute.
they
Like
might
this one
not
is
say
not
that, I
Instagram
don't
couple
know yet,
thing.
but
Like they are
they'll
actually
say-
like this.
They'll say,
They're always very aggressive.
yes, it's very aggressive. Right. But I've seen that in mass, and I'll see how much, he's willing to
Nah.
even give us things to, give us reasons for us to trust them, to do certain things, and even see how my dad would trust my mom and vice versa. So coming from that environment, I didn't really have any not so good experiences in dating. So bringing that into this relationship, the only mindset I had was I am going to trust her from the start. And the more I got to know her, I realized that not only is it easy, but it put me in a place that made me realize that even
Aw.
if I came from a not so great background, she would still give me reasons to build that trust. So I'm grateful I had that experience, but secure it has always been, but I hope it stays that way. But she makes it easier for me too.
I will say thank you. I will say this as well. I think part of his security, like he said, where he didn't really have like a jaded past, I think that made such a difference. Tyler always jokes that he had a really late glow up, right? And
It's true. Same. I feel you, bro. I feel you.
After calling.
No, that's what I'm saying.
That's why you started getting
That's when I started getting girls. And she loves going and being a guy, so it's
no,
right.
that's a look though. That's a look.
Exact.
Really? That's why when you saw him that day, you were like,
Yeah,
That's
really
okay.
my spec. Like when I was on the train the other day in London and I found a guy attractive.
This part I saw a clip on Instagram.
Before you.
I was looking at him and I was like, why don't I find this guy attractive?
I want to make a video for this for myself.
I think that made such a difference.
Okay.
Ty always jokes that he had a really late glow up, right? And
It's true. Same. I feel you, bro. I feel you.
After calling.
Same. Me when I went bold, that's what I'm saying.
That's why you started getting
That's when I started getting girls. And she loves going and being it.
Hold on. I'm a
Stays that way. But she makes it easier for me too.
I will say thank you. I will say this as well. I think part of his security, like he said, where he didn't really have like a jaded past, I think that made such a difference. Ty always jokes that he had a really late glow up, right? And
It's true. Same. I feel you, bro. I feel you.
After calling.
Same. Me when I went bold, that's what I'm saying.
That's why you started getting
That's when I started getting girls. And she loves going and being a guy, so it's right.
that's a look though. That's a look.
Exact.
Really? That's why when you saw him that day, you were like,
Yeah, that's really my spec. Like when I was on the train the other day in London and I found a guy attractive.
I saw this on Instagram, so I know what she's saying. This one is cute.
I was looking at him and I was like, why don't I find this guy
It looks
attractive?
like you're
And then I realized he was bald and had a
Wait,
beard.
is that a thing for you too?
Huh?
Is that a thing for you too? No? Yeah.
I ain't talking about me.
Okay, sorry. Sorry.
No, I guess, on that topic, funny enough, actually, do you know why it's a bit different? Because I would identify as more like demisexual, so it is very hard for me. Remember I just said Ty was my first adult crush? It is very hard for me to see someone and be like, oh my god, they're so attractive. I can acknowledge this is an attractive person. Like, I can look at them and say, yes, I know that you are attractive.
Give me their names.
But I don't necessarily have attraction. Like,
There's a difference.
Yeah, they're the exact same. I need to hear what a man says.
That is it.
Because they will ruin every fantasy you have once they start talking and you hear their views.
It goes both ways though. Like even like for me, generally speaking, like I agree with you. If someone is attractive, doesn't mean you're attracted to them. So after you talk to them after a while and you get to know them, their interests and like their values, that's when the attraction actually comes over time. But I mean,
Just like
that's something
I used to like just like what Labi said. You know how you said like the attraction and the person's mindset, like you have that combination. And if you remember, I saw her tweets first. I was so lazy. All I had to do was just go and look up the name. Instead, I was just going based off the small profile picture. So I already loved the type of mindset she had.
Yeah.
And then the day I went on Instagram and I just typed her name, I was like,
over.
it was over for you.
Wow.
No way, it's over
I
for
actually
you.
cannot imagine being in that situation, not knowing what she.
Exactly.
It's like and then seeing our fun on
Listen, my honest reaction, I haven't told you this, my honest reaction was, no way. This is, wow. And then my first reaction was, I didn't know she was single, so I said, well, listen, whoever is going to be with her, he's a lucky guy. And then I saw a video.
I saw a picture of me with my brother. I thought I was my man.
Listen, I saw a picture of her and her brother,
We
and
literally look like each other. Like,
instead of me to just read the caption, I was just scrolling. I was
You're
like,
really angry.
kudos to him. And I kept scrolling. I didn't do that. So it's a real thing, you know. Attraction is one thing, you know. Everyone can find someone that's attractive, but finding that person that has the values you're looking for, that actually has a mindset that's attractive, was always the hard part. And I was never willing to settle for anything less. My friends would call me unicorn because I didn't want to settle and all that. But
it's okay, be a unicorn.
Exactly, you get what you want.
What your unicorn ways are.
Get what you want. So I'm glad that happened for me.
I'm absolutely loving this conversation, but sadly, we have to wrap it up. So to wrap it up, I'm curious, what was the moment for you guys where you said, you know, I want to build a life with this person?
oh my gosh. There were lots of like nuggets in the beginning. Because I remember like first time I spoke to him, I was like, Mum, I found my husband. Second call, I was like, yeah, this is the one. Like within a week, I was on Twitter like, I found my man. So like, there were lots of nuggets, but I would say the solid moment I knew that I want to build a life with him. Why are you smiling like that?
No, wait. Because I'm hearing from the
It was, I think it goes back to what I said earlier, like finding a man who challenges me to be a better person. So for me, it was like the realization that Taiwo isn't just a good man, he's a good human being. Man aside, like gender aside, he's a good person. And I think that sadly there are a lot of women who are in relationships and they're not challenged. They always do the challenging. Like they're always pushing the guy to be better and be a better partner, a better person. And it doesn't necessarily work the other way. And being with a man who was like, okay, this is who I am, these are my values, this is what I'm about, and feeling like,
This is at my
wow,
door.
I need to
Let's
be
see
a
if she
better
comes
human being. Like
I'm
in
almost
so many
done.
ways, like spirituality and his dedication to like Christ, and then also his just
For about
willingness
11
to go
minutes.
above and beyond for people, and just how sweet and how
she's
loving he
okay.
is. And it's funny because like even when he thinks he's being mean to people, I'm like, babe, that's not even like you're still like he's just such a nice person, and he's like one of the nicest people I've ever met. And that was the moment, I think, just being like, wow, he makes me want to be.
If she comes in,
even
the first thing
better,
she's going for is
because
this
he's so
tripod.
good. He's such a good person. And yeah, when I came to that conclusion, it was a wrap for me.
I'm out of words.
No.
I really am. For me, there were a couple incidents. The first one was after that 7-hour call. And like after we said good morning, good night.
So the question for this, in case we missed it, was when did you know you wanted to build a life with them? And that is what Tony answered. That the part she says, he's not just a good man, he's a good human being. A good human being. Like, people underestimate that. Like, are you actually a good person? Not just like, yeah. Anyway, let me hear his answer. Gotta wrap this up.
I just put my phone down and I wasn't doing anything. I was just thinking. I was like, why? why do I have it this good? Why is everything making sense? I called my brother. I said, "Guy, I don't find wife. Oh. I found my wife." I told him I found my wife. I'm not playing. But then when I went to London, before I went to London, I told her that if we meet each other and the vibe is not there, let's end it. And we met, and it was
The vibe was there.
way
The vibe was vibing.
The vibe was vibing. The vibe was vibing. And there was that moment too at the airport.
Hold on.
Good night. And I just put my phone down and I was just I'm out of words. I really am.
Keep up over there. And that was the moment, I think, just being like, wow, he makes me want to be even better. Like, because he's so good. He's such a good person. And yeah, when I came to that conclusion, it was a wrap for me.
I'm out of words. I really am. For me, there were a couple incidents. The first one was after that 7-hour call.
7 hours.
Like after he said good
7
morning,
hours
good
call.
night,
The second time
and
they talked. Second
I
time
just
they
put my
haven't
phone
met
down and I
each
was
other
just,
yet.
I wasn't doing anything. I was just thinking. I was like, why? Why do I have it this good? Why is everything making sense? I called my brother. I said, "Guy, I don't find wife. Oh. I found my wife." I told him I found my wife. I'm not playing. But then when I went to London, before I went to London, I told her that if we meet each other and the vibe is not there, let's end it. And we met, and it was
The vibe was there.
way
The vibe was vibing.
The vibe was vibing. The vibe was vibing. And there was that moment too at the airport where we met, and the enthusiasm she had to meet me. I'm always the person that's more extrovert, show themselves. But that moment at the airport is something I could never. We're gonna have a lot of great moments in life, but that's one that that will always stand out. And
Was
then
that the one where you set your phone? Did we get to see
No,
that?
no, that was like a
another
different.
trip.
yeah.
That was the first time we ever met. Like, I saw him coming, and I was just like, instinct. Even though I've never met him in real life physically, I just ran over to him, gave him a big flying hug, because I was just like,
But
this is my person, you know?
But then the third one was when she came to Houston last year to visit, and I think she stayed for almost a month.
Yeah, I was here
And
for
in
that.
that month, like there were days where I forgot that, oh, we've not even been dating for a year yet. But it felt like this is what I can get used to forever. And in that moment, from just daily stuff like her willingness to go above and beyond for me, my willingness to do that for her, and to see somebody reciprocate that energy without being asked, I said, what am I doing? This is it. So those are moments that really made me say, this is my person, and without a doubt, I have no doubt.
Oh yeah, when are we buying a
You
shit?
know, sometimes people post their relationships online and people assume that they're just happy on that scene. It will pain haters to know that it's
Actually,
we're happier.
It's better in real life.
We are happy off camera, and I don't know how to express that even more. So I'm happy I'm in this relationship, and I told her that I can't see any other way this would go. There was a time when I was in London on Valentine's Day, the first year, and we're at Park Row for dinner, and we're like, how many days in? We're like,
So
nothing.
we were a month in, and this was the first week we
First
met
week
each
of us
other
meeting in
physically.
person. And then she asked me a question. She said, hypothetically, what if this doesn't work out? And I almost shed a tear. Just hearing it. Because I could not even picture a scenario where this doesn't work. I couldn't even picture a scenario where this doesn't work. And that moment I said, yeah, this is it.
And I can't lie, that moment was like a not that things shifted, because I was all
that they're just happy on that scene. It will pain haters to know that we're happier.
It's better in real life.
We are happy off camera, and I don't know how to express that even more. So I'm happy I'm in this relationship, and I told her that I can't see any other way this would go. There was a time when I was in London on Valentine's Day, the first year, and we're at Park Row for dinner, and we're like, how many days in? We're like,
So
nothing.
we were a month in. This was the first week we
First
met
week
each
of us
other
meeting in
physically.
person. And then she asked me a question. She said, hypothetically, what if this doesn't work out? And I almost shed a tear. Just hearing it. Because I could not even picture a scenario where this doesn't work. I couldn't even picture a scenario where this doesn't work. And that moment I said, yeah, this is it.
And I can't lie, that moment was like a not that things shifted because I was always where I was, right? But it was like a snap because like to see him get so emotional, we've been in each other's presence for like 6 days, and it's been a month of like talking. I asked him, oh, what would you do hypothetically? I was just thinking like, because I joked, I was like, oh man, this is it for me. I said, if this doesn't work out, I'm joining another. I give up with relationships, I'm done. And I was just like doing it in passing, right? And then when he got super emotional, I was like,
wait a minute.
I was like, he loved me. No, he told me he loved me already. But I was like, you really love me.
The fact that he was sad about it.
Yeah, and then when I was like looking at him, and it's funny because he was like, it's the champagne, it's the champagne. I was like, but it really touched me because I was like, to be loved so deeply, to have not known someone for, why am I getting emotional? It was nice.
Yeah.
It's the side rubbing off on me. I see your eyes tearing up. I saw her eyes tearing up.
Attractive to me because I kind of feel that way about myself. So to like see someone who is on the same page as you makes me like really, really happy. There have also been times that I know I'm not in the best place in life. It could be financially, it could be emotionally, whatever the case may be, but she's always been there to take care of me. And I know she's saying, oh, I do all the nurturing, but I don't think she realizes how much even being able to call her and just tell her what's going on in my life and her being there to support me has just really like helped me out so much in life. And yeah, I think there's only going to be more things to like reaffirm and reassure like me in terms of my wanting to spend the rest of my life with you.
That jeez, that jeez.
She's trying to stop herself from crying. That's what to do. She's trying to do like, it's okay, just like the tail lamp. It's okay. But yeah, no, it's been a lot of things, and I've been in relationships in the past that have been good relationships. They haven't been terrible, but the nurture and the care and the attention to detail, like for her towards my life, it just takes everything to the next level. And yeah,
I love that.
I still think that we're gonna have a big wedding.
Okay.
Are you getting married?
Oh.
Why is it always that you want a big wedding?
Oh, I don't want a big wedding
always
because
the
it's going to be there's a lot of financial responsibility associated with that. So I really want a tiny wedding.
Okay.
But I don't think I can get away with doing a small wedding. And she
Not
thinks
with
the
her.
same. But I told her to write her list, and she'll just be naming all these people. And by the time we get to 70, 80, that's just her.
She learned too. Don't
Exactly,
worry.
that's what I'm saying. It's nice. It's a nice thought to have a small wedding.
This 50.
It's necessary.
We'll see.
We've come a long way because in the beginning of our relationship, we were not going to
We
get
were not
married.
gonna
I
get
knew that I did not want to be married, but
We still don't have to
yeah,
get
we've
married.
come
We
a
don't
long
have to.
way.
Wow.
We don't have to.
This 50% wedding you keep imagining.
It will happen.
It will happen.
Times 4.
I'm meaner than him. The thing is, he's so sweet and loving, and it's like, oh, you can come. If I can
Say the no.
yes, of course. So I don't care.
I don't know if person. I've only
I
met
mean,
them once.
you've just got blood related. Have you born me this year? Of course. But yeah, so anyway, when the time comes.
Hang on, man. It's done? No. It's done?
So sweet and loving.
No, let me, no.
Why is it always that you want a big wedding?
Oh, I don't want a big wedding
always the
because
best.
it's going to be there's a lot of financial responsibility associated with that. So I really want a tiny wedding.
Okay.
But I don't think I can get away with doing a small wedding. And she thinks the same. But I told her to write her list, and she'll just be naming all these people. And by the time we get to 70, 80, that's just her.
She learned too. Don't
Exactly,
worry.
that's what I'm saying. It's
It's
nice. It's a nice thought to have a small.
This 50.
It's
This
necessary.
We'll see.
We've come a long way because in the beginning of our relationship, we were not going to
We
get
were
married.
not,
I
yeah.
knew that I did not want to be married, but
We still don't have to
yeah,
get
we've
married.
come
We
a
don't
long
have to.
way.
wow.
We don't have to.
This 50% wedding you keep imagining.
It will happen.
They will have to.
Times 4.
I'm meaner than him. The thing is, he's so sweet and loving, and it's like, oh, you can come, you can come. If I can say that no. Yes, of course. So I don't care.
I don't know if I see my wedding.
I mean, you've just got blood related. Have you called me this year? Of course. But yeah. So anyway, when the time comes.
Don't worry, when the time comes. I really like how that ended. Oh my god, that is the kind of content I am here for. Let's chat. Let's chat. Let's just wrap it up because Daisy's already at my door. We need to end. Hold on, just trying to reply a message. The good ones. All right, I'm wrapping this up because it's time for Daisy. Do not know how she's giving me this much time, anyways. So that was fantastic. Honestly, when I started this, I didn't know that I was going to enjoy that much. I hadn't watched it before I turned on the live. I think I only watched about a minute or three at most. So I didn't know I was going to enjoy it that much. In fact, I started out this live by saying I wasn't going to watch it to the end, but I watched it to the end, and it was like I cannot wait to see what they come up with next, because this was the first episode. This was such a high note to begin with. Hold on, let me reply a message. Ugh. Hold on, I'm just trying to do a couple of things. Anyways, what am I doing? I don't want to say that I live on the internet, even though I low-key do, but I love it when you meet people that, quote unquote, again, meet them on the internet, and the good vibes they gave you, still the same good vibes you see. Like, I love it. And this whole interview, this whole conversation is like, making me still feel the same good vibes I get from Tony and Taiwo. I'm still getting the same good vibes now as, I didn't really know much about Fee Sayo, that's the owner of Kai, and her partner before now. Like, in fact, I didn't even know anything. I only knew the face, like his face. I just know her and admire her from the business angle, from what she's doing with Kai. But yeah, I didn't know her much and her relationship about that, but I'm glad for this little insight. And also, I actually did learn a lot of things here, especially like the communication is just so open, it's just so stellar. It's just, like, I've learned that there's a part of me that wants to say, of course, you can always speak things here and try to incorporate that. So there's that as well. Not only was I entertained, I learned something as well. So definitely a good 1 hour plus that I spent doing that, I do not regret that time at all. Yeah, I still have time to prepare for my workshops. I do not regret that time at all. Like, it was the best. It was the best. It was actually the best. And I, of course, why I was on my phone so much is that I have been, like, I'm the kind of person that when I like something, I am going to talk about it. Like, I'm going to put it on my WhatsApp. I'm going to put it on my X. I like, I'm talking about it not because anybody's listening. I'm just talking about it because I feel like talking about it. It makes me feel like I'm enjoying it even more. So of course I've been tweeting up a storm. Like, I literally did a thread. I was tweeting up a storm, and just a beautiful, a cute, let me say, a cute coincidence. Fisayo replied one of the tweets I made. I'm like, oh, cute, that's cute, or whatever. That's not why I was tweeting, but yeah, that's cute, or whatever. And of course, this is a new show. So yeah, that is cute, or whatever. I really, really like this. Like, I really, really enjoyed this. I really, really enjoyed this. I cannot even see. I'm just realizing I don't even follow her. Why don't I follow her? Maybe I'm going to follow her now. Oh, wow. Yeah, I just realized I don't follow her, so I'm going to follow her now. She has given me content to watch. I'm definitely going to follow Kai Collective because I want to know when the next episode comes. This is supposed to be like a series. I really, really wonder what they're going to do. Let me end this live before I continue what I'm doing. Or should I? Yeah, that's how I want to end it. All right. So yeah, thank you for the 1 or 2 people I saw join me during. But these lives, I do it mostly for myself. And if you do happen to find it and like it and watch it, sure, that's fine. But yeah, that's it for today. Let me go and prepare for my workshop, and also the Duke, not the Duke, Daisy is, waiting. I think I feel good enough now that I might actually film something. You know, I started by saying I wasn't feeling too well and I wasn't going to film. Maybe I'll film. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. Bye. And